Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I really hope you're doing good. It is officially pumpkin spice season, which means it's officially the start of autumn. I don't care that autumn technically doesn't start until the end of September. In my head, as soon as the pumpkin spice lattes are out, it's autumn and I go into full autumnal cozy girl hibernation mode, which is exactly where I'm at right now. Also, the leaves outside my window over here are definitely starting to change colours, so as far as I'm concerned, autumn is here and all I want is cozy reads, I want thrillers, I want horrors, and I want cozy romances. And that is exactly what I'm going to talk about in today's video. I am giving you my top 10 cozy romance recommendations that are perfect for the fall season. I am so excited for these. So I'm going to give you 5 that I've already read and my thoughts on them and why they're perfect for fall, and then I'm also going to show you 5 that I have bought that I really want to read this fall season, so I guess it's almost like a little bit of a TBR as well. So yeah, very exciting. Full disclosure, I have just finished work, which is why I'm looking a little worse for wear, so I do apologise, but I had to make the most of the light, you guys, and the small amount of filming time that I actually get during the week. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into book number 1. So this is You'll Think of Me by Lucia Franco. I didn't rate this book as highly as some of her other ones that I've read. However, it was still a fun read and it definitely fulfills the requirement of cozy autumnal fall vibes. So this book is about Olivia and it is about Luke. It is a second chance romance, and Olivia and Luke used to date when they were a lot younger. They were super in love. Everybody thought they were going to get married, and then Olivia went off to New York for college and Luke became a really famous country singer, and now all of a sudden Olivia is back in town. Luke is around, she keeps hearing his songs on the radio and she bumps into him, and it is all about her trying to win him back and him trying to win her back and all of the hijinks that ensue in between. So this is mainly set towards the end of summer and going into fall, but it is set in Georgia, which for me, when I think of Georgia and I think of fall, I think of like Vampire Diaries and I think of like Gilmore Girls-esque like golden colours everywhere. I mean, I've never even been to Georgia, okay, so if you live in Georgia and it's not like this, please just ignore me. I'm just romanticizing America so bad right now, but that is how I think of it in my head, and that's what I saw the entire time I was reading this book. So if you're wanting that kind of cozy full vibe, if you're wanting a happy ever after, if you're wanting a second chance romance, I definitely recommend this one. And also if you're as obsessed with country music as I am, this is another reason to pick this up. Then we have one of my favorite books. We have Corrupt by Penelope Douglas, which is the first book in the Devil's Night series. Now this one I chose less for the cozy vibes and more for the kind of going into spooky season type vibes, because this book is definitely a little dark. It is definitely a little taboo. It definitely has some things going on, if you catch my drift. So this one is about Michael Krisk and Erica Fane, and Michael is Erica's boyfriend's older brother, and she has always had a crush on him, but obviously she is with her boyfriend and Michael has never paid her a second glance. And anyway, something happens when she's in like, I think she's a junior in high school and I think he's a senior or something like that. I can't remember the exact specifications, but something happens and they blame Erica for it. I'm not saying whether or not she should be blamed for it, but they blame Erica for it. And so Michael and his friends, they call themselves, I think they call themselves the Horsemen. I'm pretty sure they call themselves the Horsemen. Basically, they decide to terrorize Erica. And all of these horrible scenarios and things they put her through lead up to a Devil's Night, which is effectively Halloween in their hometown. I absolutely loved this book. I don't feel like I've done the best job of describing it because it's been a year or so since I've read this, and honestly, now that I'm talking about it, I'm really tempted to give it a reread because I loved it so much. It has so much spice. It's definitely not for the faint-hearted, like I said, but yeah, I very much enjoyed reading this, and now all of a sudden I'm desperate to reread them. To be honest, this whole series, this whole Devil's Night series definitely fulfills the quota for kind of spooky, super taboo, very dark romances, and like I say, that all of the hijinks like throughout the series, it's all kind of like culminates on Devil's Night, so I definitely recommend picking this one up and just picking up the whole series in general. It's technically companion novels, so you can read them as standalones if you wanted to, but I do recommend reading them in order because obviously, as with companion novels, the different characters appear throughout each other's books, and obviously if you don't read it in order, you may spoil yourself for a book that you then decide you want to read. My favourites were Corrupt and Killswitch. I wasn't as bothered by the other two because, to be honest, I wasn't as bothered by the other boys. I really liked Michael and I really liked Damon, so yeah. Another Penelope Douglas book, this one's Credence, and this is one of my favourite books of all time, and this one's super taboo, so if you've not picked this up and you don't know what this is about, please don't judge me. Also, I should say this is Enemies to Lovers. This one's age gap. This one is, I guess you could even say, technically kind of a reverse harem. This one's incredibly taboo. So this one follows Tiernan, and Tiernan is orphaned. Her parents both unalive themselves really close to her 18th birthday, but because she's still 17, she has to have a guardian. So she goes to live with her step uncle, and he has like a cabin up in the mountains somewhere in Colorado, and basically his cabin effectively gets cut off from civilization for like several months of the year over the winter because the snow and the weather just gets so bad that you cannot leave, essentially. So the first part of the book kind of obviously concerns her like infiltrating the family. Infiltrating sounds really like calculated. She's just getting settled in. She's settling into the family and like the dynamics of living in like a small town and also in like a cabin. She gets to know her step cousins, I suppose. There's a younger one who's a lot more friendly, and then there's an older one who's super mysterious and doesn't really speak very much and is very like, you know. So yeah, the first kind of part of the book is her like settling in, and then she starts a sexual relationship with all three of them. So yeah. So basically, like, the reason I picked this one is just purely for the setting, and obviously a lot of this actually goes on over winter more so than autumn, but like, tell me that doesn't scream fall to you guys. Like, tell me that cover isn't just giving you fall cabin vacation vibes. Just come on now, come on now. Okay, so another book that I loved with my whole heart. This is A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. This one is a standalone. It's a second chance romance, and oh my god, this one will tug at your heartstrings like no other. If you finish this book without crying, you honestly deserve a medal. You really, really do. So I'm picking this for a fall recommendation, not because of the setting, because it's technically set a lot in South Florida. It's actually, I think, set around kind of like the Palm Beach area, which I love because that's where I spend a lot of my time and has my whole heart. So I love it for that reason, but obviously that is a very tropical location, so definitely doesn't fall under the fall cozy vibe. But this is also semi-set in Boston, I think, and that very much does. That has very cozy vibes. Very, very cozy vibes. And honestly, just like the wholesome aspects of this story and the love story, it's just pure cozy, and it just makes me so happy, even though it also completely destroys me. So I definitely recommend this. I'm not really going to go into much of the plot because honestly I feel like going into it blind is better, more so because I don't want to give away anything, because I want you guys to have the same kind of emotional raw reaction to it that I had. So yeah, pick this one up. There's also a stunning anniversary edition as well that I actually really want to get myself, which I might actually put on my Christmas list. Maybe, we'll see. I might get it myself, I don't know. We'll see how long my book buying ban lasts. I've already broken it like 6 times, but psh, it's not important. Buy this book, read it, comment below and tell me what you think of it, because if you do not cry, like I say, I'm fairly convinced you don't have a heart. And finally, on the books that I've already read, we have Her Whole. No, we don't. Oh my god. Oh my god. That, if I had finished that title with that mispronunciation, mistake, whatever, that would have been a very different book. It's Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue, and this one fulfills definitely the quota of spooky, as you can probably tell from the title. This one also covers definitely like Halloween-y vibes. It's set in a small town. It's very fall, very autumnal, very winter weather as well. And yeah, I loved this book so much. So this is a supernatural romance, and this is Leon, who is a demon, sorry, and Ray, who is human. And from what I can remember, because I read this one a while ago, and again, this is another one I really want to reread during this fall period. From what I can remember, Ray is like a supernatural YouTuber, so she likes to go to kind of like supposedly haunted buildings and try and capture supernatural evidence on camera. And I'm pretty sure she summons a demon by accident to a building in her town, and then discovers that actually this demon is intrinsically linked to a family in the town and certain kind of like evil goings on, let's say. I don't really want to give away any more because the more I'm talking about it, more is coming back to me. But yeah, it's really, really good. There's actually a second book, it's kind of like a companion novel, so it's not necessarily a sequel as such, which I also really, really need to read. But this one was so much fun. I really loved this. Okay, so next up we have all the books that I haven't read yet, and honestly, when I line these covers up next to each other and show you, you're just going to understand why these scream fall. Look at those colours, oh my gosh. So all of these books I basically bought because I'm in a real small town romance mood right now. I have been getting increasingly into small town romances like throughout the summer, and I recently read the latest book in the Eden series by Daphne Perry, and it just honestly made me realise that right now all I want is like cute, wholesome, Hallmark movie vibes from my romances. I want cute Montana small towns, I want cabins, I want found family, I want little inns and bed and breakfasts and all like the cute vibes, cute vacations and flannel shirts and cowboy hats and all that kind of stuff. Okay, like that is in real life as well as in fiction, but mostly right now in fiction, because I realize that the likelihood of me clicking my fingers and having a cowboy delivered to my door is unlikely, honestly. Whereas me being able to order it off of Amazon and get it in book form the next day is quite a lot simpler. So that's what we're doing. So yes, we have 5 books here that I haven't read before. The first 2 are in the same series. So we have On the Rocks and we have Neat, both by Candy Steiner. Look at those covers, guys. They're so cute. So this is book 1 and 2 of the Becker Brothers series, which I believe it's a 4-part small town romance series surrounding the Becker brothers and their respective love interests. So the first book I think is a forbidden romance. I'm going to read you the blurb so that you understand a little bit more about it, because like I say, I haven't read these and I've bought them purely based on the fact that I'm really in the mood for small town romances, and these all came like highly recommended. Also, this is the same author that wrote Love Letter to Whiskey, so obviously if it's anything like as good as Love Letter to Whiskey, I know I'm going to really like it. So the first one, everyone says Noah Becker is nothing but trouble. That's what Mama told me when I was a kid, kicking his pew in church and giggling at the games we play. It's what the town said when his father died and the Becker brothers went wild. And it's on repeat in my mind the day I walk into the whiskey distillery where he works to buy a wedding gift for my fiancé. He's trouble. Dirty, sweaty, rude trouble. No matter how many times I repeat it, I can't escape Noah in our small Tennessee town, and the more I run into him, the more he infuriates me, because he sees what no one else does. He sees me, the real me, the me I'm not sure I'm allowed to be. I'm Ruby Grace Barnett, the mayor's daughter, soon to be a politician's wife, just like Mama and Daddy always wanted, soon to fulfill my family's legacy, just like I always knew I would, until the boy everyone warned me about makes me question everything, like whether the wedding I'm planning is one I even want. Everyone says Noah Becker is nothing but trouble, if only I had listened. Love that. And then we have Neat, which I think is inspired by Romeo and Juliet. So my life is over. I swore I would never work in the whiskey distillery with my last name on it, that I would never be part of my father's legacy. But when I graduated with my art degree and realised there were no jobs, the devil appeared and I sold my soul, agreeing to work in the family business if he gave me the art studio I'd always dreamed of. It can't be that bad, I thought, until I realised my new boss was Logan Becker. The Becker brothers have a reputation for being trouble, and since I love trouble, it's no surprise to me that I'm infatuated by that forbidden fruit the first day I walk into the distillery. That lean, whiskey-eyed, too hot for his own good man hates me, and I can't blame him. His family has been at war with mine for decades, and for good reason. The Beckers and the Scooters and the Montagues and Capulets of Stratford, Tennessee. But if he's Romeo and I'm Juliet, well, we all know how that story ends, and for that reason I tell myself to steer clear. because if my father finds out I'm falling for Logan Becker, my life actually will be over, and Logan's will too. So I guess these are both forbidden romances, so that is very exciting. I'm very intrigued and I can't wait to get stuck into these. Okay, so next up we have The Coppersmith Farmhouse by Devney Perry. So this one is the first book in the Jameson Valley series, and I think this is either Grumpy Sunshine or Enemies to Lovers. I'm not 100% sure which, but the synopsis reads, also, sorry, that cover, stunning, by the way. The synopsis reads, Gigi has just uprooted her whole world to start a new life. The unexpected gift of a farmhouse in small town Montana is just what she and her daughter need to escape big city loneliness. The last thing she needs is attitude from the town sheriff, the most perfectly attractive and ruggedly handsome man she's ever laid eyes on, and a complete jerk. Jess knows all about women like Gigi, beautiful, sexy, scheming. She's stolen his sanctuary, the farmhouse that should have been his, but along with a face full of freckles, she's got a sharp wit and a backbone of steel, something he doesn't discover until after making a complete fool of himself. If he can earn back her trust and win her heart, he might just find the home he always needed. People say this is really cute, and if it's anything like the Eden series, I already know I'm going to love it, because I really enjoy Devney Perry's writing. She just kind of weaves these really vivid stories and manages to completely draw you in and have you so emotionally connected to these like found families that it's just wonderful. Like when I read the Edens, I feel like I am a part of that like family dynamic, and I love it so much. It feels so comforting to revisit it. So yeah, I'm hoping I get similar vibes from this. Equally, I also have Steel King by Devney Perry, which is the first book in the Clifton Forge series. Now, I believe this is a motorcycle club romance, which is interesting. I've never read an MC romance before. This one, again, I'm not sure if it's like Enemies to Lovers or what the vibe is, but people say this is kind of like a spicy series too. And I think this is less standalones and more like you have to read it as a series, because I think the plots all kind of like interweave and interlink. So yeah, I'm curious about this one. And this one says, the former Clifton Forge Montana Motorcycle Club has everyone in town convinced they've locked their clubhouse doors and ripped off their patches. Everyone but Bryce Ryan. There's more happening at the club's garage than muscle car restorations and Harley rebuilds. Her instincts are screaming there's a story, one she's going to tell. As the new owner of the small town's newspaper, Bryce is hungry for more than birth announcements and obituaries. When a woman is brutally killed and all signs point to the club, Bryce is determined to expose the members and the leader, Kingston Slater, as murderers. Bryce bests match after match. Disappointed, her rugged and handsome opponent turns out to be an underwhelming adversary. Secrets are exposed, truths defeat lies, and Bryce is poised to win this battle in a landslide. Then Dash breaks all the rules and tips the scales. One kiss and she's fighting to save more than just her story. She's fighting to save her heart from the Steel King. Very excited for that one. And then finally we have Could Have Been Us by Corinne Michaels. This one I bought with absolutely zero knowledge of what it's about, but I just did like a look through on TikTok of kind of the most recommended small town romances, and this one came up. I also love this cover. This is the special edition cover, and it's gorgeous. And this is part of the Willow Creek Valley series. So I guess this one I think might be second chance romance. 15 years ago, I fell for Jack O'Donnell. I was just a girl, but I knew my brother's best friend was the only man I'd ever love. On my 18th birthday, when I asked him to kiss me, I never imagined it would change my life so completely. I gave Jack my heart, but that wasn't all I lost. In order to move on, we had to go our separate ways and pretend like nothing happened, as though it wasn't the greatest night of my life. But even that wasn't as heartbreaking as the secret we were forced to keep. I've tried not to think about how much I still love him, how I long to be back in his strong arms, or the way his hazel eyes make my heart race, until he kisses me again, and this time there's no turning back. This time I know what it means. We belong together and there's no use denying it any longer. But our feelings aren't the only thing that won't stay buried. Our past resurfaces and threatens to destroy our second chance at happiness. When our love is tested once again, will we be strong enough to stand together? So yeah, that one is the 10th and final cozy fall recommendation. And again, I mean, small town romance, it just gives me all the fall vibes anyway. Like, a small town romance could literally be set in the summer, like Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This again gives me the cozy vibes so much. Also, I can't even believe that I haven't included this, Garnet Flats, which is the third book in the Eden series. This is definitely fall vibes, and I would even go as far as to recommend Christmas in Quincy as well, which is the prequel novella. This is obviously set at Christmas, but again, this is Hallmark in a book. This is Hallmark in a book. This is Hallmark in a book. The entire series is Hallmark in a book, but these two are my absolute favourites. I think maybe I will do like a guide to Devoney Perry when I've read more of her books, maybe, because I'm starting to really like her. But yeah, anyway, that is enough from me on recommendations. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, as always, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these. Keep it spoiler free. Let me know if you pick up A Love Letter to Whiskey, please, because like I say, I want to know if it breaks your heart like it broke mine. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye guys.